wants to tame me. You can't catch me on the run, cause I'm gone, yeah. I blaze trails, set fire to what's behind me. No, I'm never looking back, I'm on the run. I could only ever be what I'm made to be. It feels good when I'm living on the edge. Watch me now, go like thunder, gonna shake the ground. Can't stop me now, I don't give up and I won't back down. I'm a force of nature, can't be contained. I got a lightning running all through my veins. Watch me now, watch me now.
Hi, I'm Wyatt Milam. I'm from Canova, West Virginia. When I'm back home, you'll find me at my local Par-Mar store.
We have that gold and blue pride at your local Par-Mar store. We are coming to your neighborhood soon. West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Maryland, we have you covered. Download the Par-Mar app and sign up for the Par-Mar Rewards Card. Food, gas, groceries, and more, we are gold and blue proud, and we are Par-Mar stores.
If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon.
And hello and welcome all of you today to the WolfMan's Call. Boy, it's a big and thirsty Thursday. So get on up, get your favorite food, get your favorite beverage, because you know what? Penn State's one more day closer, one more day. Happy Valley, heading up there, beginning of September. It's gonna be on, right? It better be on. Our Mountaineers, our young bloods, the brothers better be ready to go. That's it. Neil Brown and the coaching, they better be ready to be fired up and get it, because there's a lot of things going on, a lot of at stake. We all know what it is. Every day, I'm just saying this, you got to be here strong, man, because that's what it's about. Being strong, being able to overcome challenges, and being at Happy Valley, the first game of the season, is definitely a challenge. Well, everybody, welcome again to the WolfMan's Call, and I'm really proud to be here today because we have something really special. And what that specialty, of course, is this. It is my favorite, and it's the network, man. And you can't beat the network, because when you're looking at it, you got to sit there and you got to think about how cool it is. Archies, Pittsburgh, East Carson Street, Jim Manning, that's huge. Thank you for joining up this week. Brickside Bar and Grill, that's Rob Davis down there in Bridgeport. Huge, eat local. You got Jimbo's place. He's got a double. Jimbo there, man. He's got it over at Elkins, and soon to be next week up in Buchanan. So what's up? And, of course, you got Kegler Sports Bar and Grill, Jerry the Wren's, Dougie. Say hello to Dougie Moore. All my buddies down there at Kegler's with the old Wolfman burger. Get those Kegler's wings. You got Aaron Gizzy out there, Lakeview, Legends Sports Bar and Grill. And you move up there to Fairmont, and you're going to go to the Mason Jar Barbecue and more. Unbutton those britches. All part of this WolfMan's Call Network. It's getting cooler. Morgantown, you got Mel up there with the Tap House. Yeah, that's right. And, of course, Mason Jar Saloon with Steve Reese, just like the Saloon and Hotspot, just in Morgantown, just like the one in Fairmont. You go to Teays Valley, you got the Pallet there. Tip your servers there. That's right. Audrey, Haley, and the crew. And Route 22 Sports Bar in Weirton, West Virginia. Man, what a place. All those big screen TVs. What a way to watch a sporting event. And the new one today. You got Cantrells, River City Grill and Pub. Right down there in Hinton, West Virginia. Man, it just keeps getting more and more. We have more on the way. But we got to tell you, we love the network. And we appreciate everything you're doing for the WolfMan's Call. And with that being said, I have to now introduce you to somebody special, and that is the Dale Sparks Collection. It can only mean one thing. It's got to be with Dale Sparks. Dale, how you doing, man?
Hey, Dale, I'm doing great. Good to see you, brother.
It's good to see you, man. You got something big going on this weekend at Kegler Sports Bar and Grill. Tell me about it. It's with the Deuce Man.
Oh, the Deuce is coming to town in Deuce days. He'll be here at Kegler's. Kegler's is the best. I mean, they're just the greatest supporters of me, all pro photography and framing, the Dale Sparks collection. And then this time we're presenting another summer signing with Deuce McBride, current New York Knick, and he is coming to town. We're going to do an autograph session. You get to meet him, talk to him, get his autograph. We're going to be selling pictures from the Dale Sparks collection, and we'll be you can bring in some outside items for a fee, a $25 fee there, and we'll just have a great time. It's going to be about an hour and a half's worth of time with Deuce, so just come in, visit with him, and it's going to be spectacular. I mean, Deuce McBride, my goodness, he played here for a couple of years, one or 2 years. I can't even remember. I mean, there's so many guys going through here these days.
He played here for 2 years, man, and remember I was telling you, remember about that spring game, the football game? He came out and he was a quarterback formerly in high school. He threw that ball 50 yards into the net. What a deuce. I mean, what a dude, man, right? I mean, he's just a special cat, and he's being extremely successful now. I mean, this, you know what I tell Dale is like all these young men, like Javon Carter came back a couple of weeks ago doing his camps, right. and then you had, of course, Deuce has got some camps coming to West Virginia. These guys are giving back to the state of West Virginia because they appreciate Mountaineer Nation and how they not only supported them back in the day, but they follow them now.
Right. And the Mountaineer fans are the best. So Deuce is coming back. He wanted to have a signing so he can meet the fans, greet the fans, give them a chance to be him. We're so excited about it. I mean, it's just amazing. It's just amazing that we can do this, and he trusts us to take care of things for him. We're going to have a big crowd there at Kegler's in the clubhouse.
Right there in the parking lot level.
Yeah, right in the parking lot level, 5:30 to 7. And like I said, we'll have pictures there for you to purchase. From the outside, $5 fee to get that signed. So it's just going to be a great time. I mean, it's Deuce McBride.
he's a New York Knickerbocker, man.
Yeah, I mean, this is a current NBA player. I mean, 2 weeks ago, we had Javon Carter at the clubhouse at Kegler's, a current NBA player going to be playing for Chicago. And now we got another one, New York Knicks, Deuce McBride.
No doubt about it. Okay, hey, so listen, say you can't make it there. How do they go ahead and get something from Deuce signed or go through all of your collections? Because it is a collection with the all-pro photography.
It is a collection. If you want to see the collection, you can go to, it's really simple, dalesparks.com. And just go there and you can view a lot of pictures from the collection. It's not everything that we have. You can always call us or even email us to find out what else we do have. But there's a large, good cross section of the collection on our website. Now, if you can't be at our event this Saturday, we've set up a special line that you can call and place your order, and then we'll ship it to you, or you can come by the office and pick it up. So you can call 304-376-7525, ask for Lisa, and she will take your order, and we will get it out to you and or have it ready for you to be picked up in our office. That includes any personalization that you want on a photo, to the Wolfman, to the Wolf Woman. I mean, whoever you want to sign it to, he'll do it.
Okay, so give us that number one more time.
304-376-7525 and ask for Lisa.
All right. Awesome, man. That's totally cool. And I'm going to tell you something, Dale. I appreciate you, man. And I know if anybody wants to go buy a Wolfman picture, they can get it at the Dale Sparks collection.
Oh, absolutely. We got a few Wolfman pictures.
Yeah, well, so do I, as you can tell. I think there's a shrine out amongst the studio here. So we're okay over here. All right, brother. Well, listen, man, thank you so much, Dale Sparks. And I'm not sure what's going on there. But again, real quick, autograph session with Deuce McBride, former Mountaineer and current New York Knicks player. Saturday, July 29th, 5:37. Dale Sparks, awesome. Right there, I think you're frozen, brother. So thank you very much, and we will see you Saturday, the 29th. And we're out. Okay, well, you're back. Okay, real quick. I'm going to put you back on. Go ahead, brother.
All right.
Say what
back.
you got to say.
All right, come and see us. Come and see us this Saturday, Kegler's 5:30 to 7. If you want to meet Deuce McBride, his given name is Miles, but he loves Deuce. He wears the number 2, current New York Knicks basketball player in the NBA. I mean, how many opportunities are we going to have like this? Come out and meet Deuce, get his autograph, buy a picture from the Dale Sparks collection, and just have a great time. Come to Kegler's. They're going to be serving food. You can eat, drink, and be merry.
That's right, Ed. I might go one-on-one with Deuce in the hoops.
Oh, yeah, that would work out really well.
All right, brother. We got to roll, man. I got the Rooster on next, the Twisted Rooster on next. So thanks so much, but we'll see you Saturday at 5:30.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Wolfman. You're the best.
Brother. Take care, man. See ya. All right. Well, with that being said, like I said, I have someone here in the backstage right now, and his name is Kevin Shuler. And this guy, let me give you a little bit of background here. He is with the Voice of College Football Network. I believe he focuses on the South Carolina Gamecocks down there in Columbia, South Carolina. And he is also going to help us today and inform us about going on with the SEC. So let's welcome to the show, the first time, the Twisted Rooster, Kevin Shuler. Hello, Kevin. How are you, sir?
Doing good, Wolfman. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. Hey, what's up with the Twisted Rooster? I know why they call me Wolfman. Why do they call you the Twisted Rooster?
Because I like to cut up and have fun. You know, at the end of the day, we all love college football, but it started out with the Twisted Tailgate is the actual name of my channel. And the Rooster was kind of a South Carolina Gamecock thing. So I just kind of combined the Twisted Tailgate with the Rooster thing and came out with Twisted Rooster, which I thought was kind of cool little name.
Well, you know what? It's not bad because you are representing the Gamecocks. So Twisted Rooster really makes a lot of sense. And how good is the Twisted Tailgate?
It's good. When I really got into doing the YouTube thing, I wanted to blend in tailgating, cooking, college football. You know, the whole atmosphere. The everyday fan loves to do on game day. Whether you're at home or whether you're at the game, everyone loves the tailgate, right?
Absolutely. Well, let me just say this. Okay, I played 19. Let me see. I'm dating myself here. 1990. We played 89 in Morgantown against South Carolina in 1990. We went 1-1. In Morgantown we won. In South Carolina we lost. Is it the Bryce Stadium? What's this stadium called? Bryce what?
Yeah, it's Williams-Brice Stadium.
Williams-Brice. Okay, let me pop this up right here, and so we can go ahead and talk about this. And I like this a lot. If you can see this here, looking right here at the expenditures of the SEC, and then I'm going to show the stadiums. But what was so special about that was my senior year in 1990, and what was so special was we had a light show out there. Like we went out for the coin toss, so the captains had to go out early, and there was a light show there in the Gamecocks. It was like the most amazing pregame I had seen, for at least visually, with the lights. So they still doing the light show?
Yeah, they've actually advanced it. Last year they added a lot of LED lights. So now, it's almost like being at a rock concert, but with 80,000 people in the stand.
Yeah, there was 80,000 people in the stands, and I remember Coach Nalen was like, "We don't want anyone else to see this," but the captains had to go out for the coin toss, so we had to watch it, and it was a good thing that they didn't watch it because it was pretty mesmerizing. And those Gamecock fans are pretty loyal down there because I remember it was about a 500 club that year, and it was full.
Oh yeah, like any fan base, we've had our ups and downs, and I'm guessing you played when we were going through. That would have been, was that Joe Morrison?
Say it again.
1990, the head coach. I think it was like, has that been Joe Morrison?
Okay, I'm not sure, man. I can't. I got hit in the head too many times to remember that. But I do know this, man, is that the SEC, and I've asked you, because the voice of college football, and Joey there was asked you to go ahead and get on the show here with me. But we're going to start going and covering all the Power 5 conferences on this show, and it's going to be through the Voice of College Football Network. And I just want to start out with you. So you are the first one there, Twisted. And, let's talk about this SEC because everybody talks about it as the power conference. And, the big stories. What are the big stories heading into the season this year in the SEC that you at least see as the big ones?
Honestly, everyone has Georgia favored, right? So, and they don't have the strongest schedule this year as far as their strength of schedule. I think one of the biggest stories is Alabama and their quarterback situation and who's actually going to be their starting quarterback. Can they be as successful or go back to the Alabama old by exchanging out coordinators? I think that's one of the big talking stories in the SEC as far as, the SEC is the trash talk. So everyone's all over Nick Saban, but you never bet against Nick Saban,
Why would you ever bet against Nick Saban? Honestly, now I'm going to tell you something, Twisted. I worked at WVU at the Coliseum for, I want to say 12 years. I was over there. And my office was Nick Saban's old office because the football coaches used to be at the basketball arena and before they got into the new stadium. So I have the living ghost of Nick Saban in my office. I used to talk to him a lot. I used to talk to Hugs, used to talk to Dana, used to talk to Neil, all those in my own mind. But again, Nick Saban is, I'm telling you what, man, the guy wins wherever he goes. How do you bet against that guy?
Well, smart money would never bet against Nick Saban. He is who he is. Everyone watches Nick Saban and they're kind of polarized about how he talks college football because he does try to educate. He doesn't really avoid the tough questions when it comes to college football and the way the landscape's changing, especially with NIL and the transfer portal. But you never bet against a guy like that. He's proven time after time after what's he got 7 rings now. You just don't. Right now, the West, as far as I think top 2 teams is winning the SEC West. You look at LSU, who has a lot of returning production offensively and defensively. Perkins on defense was considered one of the best defensive players in the SEC last year for LSU. And then, Jaden Daniels, their quarterback. All them guys are returning to LSU. So they're a stacked team. But then, you still can't bet against Alabama either. We don't know what Tommy Reese's offense is going to look like. They brought in Tyler Buckner, who actually knows the offense by playing under Tommy Reese over at Notre Dame. Kevin Steele, back at Alabama or at least working for Nick Saban for the 3rd time as defensive coordinator. You just don't know because the talent they have at Alabama, I guess Georgia's probably the only team that rivals them talent-wise.
Let me ask you this. What is the rivalry with Georgia, Alabama now that they're the top 2 apparently in the SEC? When you sit there, is it total trash talking between the Georgia fans and the Bama fans?
Oh, yeah, all the time. Being an SEC guy, I'm subscribed to a lot of SEC YouTubers and YouTube channels. And you just see it. You see the battle in the chat sections and the arguments, and it's fun though. That's football in the South. And if it's not competitive, why? You know what I mean? It's no fun. Like rivalry games. If you're getting beat year after year after year, what's the fun in trash talking?
Well, there's no doubt about that. A rivalry has to be competitive. Or it's not very, very fun. But you see that Georgia has, with Kirby Smart, come up and all the connections that are between the 2 of them, with all the respect. But there's 12 other teams in the SEC, And LSU, for one, like I know we lost Jordan Jefferson of West Virginia down there, the nose guard. LSU got a very valuable player in Jordan JJ. So I know that they are looking to strike. Can LSU strike the Georgias and the Alabamas this year? Is it expected or is it a long shot?
Well, I think with LSU, and you probably know this about Brian Kelly too, is winning the big game, right? He's always had competitive teams, and he's a great coach. Brian Kelly is. And LSU always gets the talent. They're going to get everyone out of the state of LSU or out of Louisiana. They're going to get a lot of kids out of the state of Texas. So they're already always a very competitive and talented football team. But being a 9-3 team last year going into the SEC championship game, you got to get you got to get over that hump because you're not going to make the SEC championship game this time. You really can't. I think this year he's got an experienced team. Maybe he does get that. You know?
Yep. Okay. Well, it's nice. Now, let's not ignore talking about South Carolina Gamecocks before we get into this. Where do the Gamecocks fall in the SEC now? I'm not talking about historically. I'm talking about competitively. Last year they were 8-5. Shane Beamer, the son of Frank Beamer, is the head coach here in his second year. So it seems like there's a lot of good tides, good feelings, maybe.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Shane has come in. We went through the Will Muschamp years, and we saw Will Muschamp at Florida, and when he came to South Carolina, we didn't see much different. And at South Carolina, we admit it's tougher to recruit to South Carolina than it would be to a team like Florida. So
let me stop you, Twisted. Let me stop you. Why is that tougher? Because Columbia seems really nice.
But South Carolina's a smaller state. So it's like compared to talented football players in the high school ranks, South Carolina doesn't nearly have the players of the state of Florida. Florida just has built-in advantages when it comes to recruiting. Their success, back through the Spurrier years, the money's there. Florida just has more money than South Carolina, and I don't know why Florida's struggling right now. They really don't have an excuse that I can think of. But that was the thing with South Carolina. And Beamer's brought in a lot of positive energy, and I think the night that he posted the welcome home and it was Spencer Rattler transferring into the school, it brought something different. We've had 5-star kids, Jadavian Clowney's, Stephon Gilmore's, even Zach Pickens that just went to the NFL. We've had some 5-star kids come in as recruits, but no one with the name of a Spencer Rattler. Jadavian Clowney would have been the closest as far as a player that was a 5-star, the best player coming out of high school and also a number 1 draft pick in the NFL, to the hype of a Spencer Rattler. But South Carolina's always struggled with quarterbacks and getting those big name quarterbacks. And when Spencer decided to transfer to South Carolina, it just brought a different, like where'd this come from kind of thing. I think it was shocking.
Okay, so that's cool for South Carolina, and everything you just said about South Carolina, you can apply more to WVU and West Virginia. Everything you just said applies to WVU, and probably with a lesser account, you have more players coming out of South Carolina. I think there'd be more money in South Carolina and West Virginia. Only 1.7 million people in the state right now. So, of course, there is Mountaineer Nation, which does spread out down south a lot, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, etc., Atlanta, Georgia. So, I mean, there's a lot of Mountaineer Nations down there. Is it funny? Let me ask you this, Twisted. How many West Virginia flags do you see flying from cars or homes down in your state? Do you see any, or is it common?
Well, I live a little farther south. I'm down here in Florida. So guess what? I don't see a whole lot of Gamecock flags or West Virginia flags in South Florida. But it's funny. I do see stickers. You know what I mean? You'll see a lot of West Virginia. You see a lot of South Carolina. You see a lot of stickers on car windows down here in Florida because you get all the vacationers. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. All right, so here we go. Let's update this. Let's take a look here. When you look at the schools here with Texas and Oklahoma coming in, Texas is number one in what they have for revenue. Obviously, they got that whole network coming into the SEC, and Oklahoma is their number 5. So you got 1 and 5 in total expenditures. How is that going to ring out in the SEC?
Well, I think Texas will be fine. I think Oklahoma will be fine too. I think Oklahoma, the recruiting is going to be a little different for both these schools. Now Texas is also competing against Texas A&M, who's number 2 there on your list, and they have a selling point at the SEC, but that was an advantage for Texas A&M because they carried that SEC banner. I think those 2 teams may kind of hurt each other when it comes to recruiting because now no one has that advantage of selling a conference. Oklahoma, I think will be fine because of where Oklahoma recruits. They kind of stay a little bit outside of what typically you would think SEC country is as far as recruits. But the game has changed. We know that. With this NIL deal that's come along, Oklahoma has a lot of traditions. They have, well, I guess you consider blue blood status. I think they'll bring in, and I'm actually excited because 2024, South Carolina gets to play Oklahoma, and I think we've played them one time in our history, and we never played Texas.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I still remember West Virginia, the first time Texas rolled in to the stadium there in Morgantown, West Virginia, and Oklahoma as well. That was pretty cool. I mean, there is some novelty there. There is some enjoyment in the traditional teams come into your place for the first time, or even going out there. So you're going to have to actually go out there and enjoy both Norman and Austin because they're 2 excellent places to view the games. And I'll tell you, Palace on the Prairie, it's tough, man. That is tough out there to win.
Oh yeah, but it's something different for SEC fans. Alabama kind of has a tradition of playing Texas, but not a lot of other SEC schools play Texas a lot. Even Texas A&M and Texas stopped playing each other years back after Texas A&M joined the SEC. So it's a different venue, something exciting to see, something new. They'll get the schedule situation worked out after 2024, and I expect the SEC to go to a 9-game schedule. So you're rotating, and you'll play every one within a 4-year period, home and away, which will be a cool thing to see.
Absolutely. All right, so let's cap this off for this week. Let me just going into the preseason here. Who are your favorites in each division?
Well, yeah, I kind of did it. I did a breakdown of each team and where I thought they would be slotted coming off of SEC Media Days. They always do those votes through the media. The East is pretty easy. It's going to be Georgia. But I still think Georgia has questions too. It depends on how Carson Beck plays his first year. The West, I think, is a little more difficult because you're looking at LSU and Alabama, probably the top 2 picks. But then you got Texas A&M in there who has enough talent, really, to cause a lot of havoc in the West. But like we talked about earlier, I'm not really going to bet against Nick Saban. I don't know if Saban's going to years in a row to Brian Kelly. So I actually think it will be Alabama.
All right. Let me ask you this. Is Coach Jimbo going to survive?
He didn't give me a lot of confidence at SEC Media Days. I watched his interview a couple times, and, the biggest question was, if he can let go of the offense. If he can kind of just let Bobby Petrino run the offense, give up a little bit of his offensive style. And he never answered the question. So I'm a little confused on Jimbo. Talent-wise, Texas A&M is fine. You know what I mean? They got great players. I don't know how that conflict is going to be entities really can go. Coaching these days, you have to be a great CEO as a head coach, and you see it with Nick Sabans and the Kirby Smarts and Dabo Sweeney's and these national championship coaches. Let your coaches coach, right? That's why you hired them.
Gotta let your coaches coach. That's why you hired them, and they got to go ahead and do it. Let's take a look here at the stadiums. When you see, Alabama at 100,077, all the way to Vanderbilt down there 40,000. When you look at the stadiums here, well, what's your thoughts on here for the traditions, man? Like Kentucky 61,000 to LSU 102. Ole Miss at 64, Mississippi State 60. Then you go up to Oklahoma is now 80. South Carolina is 80, which I know is hard. In fact, I can remember, do they still have the bushes at the end zone in South Carolina?
Yeah, they do.
Because I ran through them by accident, and I got a splitter right up my can. All right, guys, I'll always never forget that. Got the splinter and ran through them. I think that was it was just a play that continued on outside, but it was an amazing, amazing place. And looking at these, look at Neyland Stadium there at, almost 102. The tradition is there. When I went to Auburn, I was coaching at West Virginia. We played Auburn, and it was Tommy Tuberville still there. And the traditions of the SEC and South Carolina are absolutely amazing. What makes a game day so cool in the SEC for you?
It's what we talked about earlier. It's the tailgating, the atmosphere, the walks that the teams do into the stadium where the fans get really involved with the players before the game. When you watch it on TV, to me, watching the SEC football game, it's just what's the SEC call it? It just means more. Mm-hmm. And they're old. You go to a lot of these stadiums. Yeah, they're renovating them. Even South Carolina's doing a lot of renovations to their stadium. There'll probably be less seats, but there'll be nicer seats.
Right.
I know I was in Athens last week. I went down to Sanford Stadium, and Georgia's making some changes to their stadium also. They're upgrading a lot of these older stadiums, so you probably will lose some capacity as far as people. But it's still, the things they do at these stadiums are great, man. Georgia has it set up where you can there's a bridge, you can walk into the stadium, you can take all the pictures.
All right, cool.
It's just cool. It's the South, and you can't go to SEC stadium as an opposing fan and not think they're going to talk trash.
Okay, so make sure when you wear your colors, you watch your back, right? At least for the trash talk, and we'll talk there. All right, well, listen, Twisted Rooster, I appreciate you coming on. First time on the WolfMan's call, and I love you coming in, talking about the SEC. We got a lot more to go to as it gets into August, so a lot more stories. Hope you come back, man, and keep us up to date, because obviously, West Virginia, the Big 12, SEC, those, powerhouse, we got Big 10, all of it on the Voice of College Football Network. It's so cool, is it not?
Hey, Wolfman.
Yeah.
When South Carolina and West Virginia is playing for the national championship at the end of the year this year, we'll definitely do a show, right, brother?
You got it, brother. All right, Twisted Rooster. Thank you so much, and God bless you, man, and thanks for coming on. Take care now.
All right, you too, buddy.
Yeah, man. All right. Okay, well, we got to go ahead, and it's time for that commercial. I'm getting better at my commercials here. I do it once at a time, and let's go ahead and look at it here. Let's go. It's time for Abby Pearson to come on, gymnast for WVU for Parmar Stores, and it's that time. We're halfway through. Release the talk version.
Hi, I'm Abby Pearson from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and when I'm back home, you will find me at my local Parmar store.
We have that gold and blue pride at your local Parmar store. We are coming to your neighborhood soon. West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Maryland, we have you covered. Download the Parmar app and sign up for the Parmar Rewards Card. Food, gas, groceries, and more, we are gold and blue proud, and we are Parmar Stores.
If there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
And all right, thank you there, Abby. And it's time now. I got a email or text message this morning, and it was from Frank Fear. He's a regular on the show, the Frank Fear Hour, and he's like, "Hey, Wolf, you got to check this out. This is hot, man. Name, image, likeness, NIL, and we're going to talk about it. It's gone to the government. I'm not sure if that's good or bad, but I do know that there's some people that know football with Joe Manchin and Tommy Tuberville being up there as senators, and we'll talk about what the other side is doing. Not sure what they are, but again, let's welcome Frank Fear and Darryl Prue, WVU Hoops Hall of Fame. What's up, Frank?
How you doing, Wolf? Good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you. And there's my man, DP. What's up, baby?
What's up, Dale? I like the shirt, Frank.
Oh, yeah.
What do we got there? West Virginia. All right, Frank.
What color is that?
I think it's, well, this one is gray. Blue on gray.
All right.
That's great because it looks to me like it's like
green.
aqua.
Yeah, aqua green. Yeah, I was like, where you get that one from?
Oh, my goodness. All right, gentlemen. Frank, what's going on now with you want to talk about this NIL? You got the Senators. You got two different people putting it out. Let me get that up here as though we can go ahead and break it down, man. Let's get right at it. Frank, go ahead.
Great. Well, thanks for letting me talk about this, and it's great to be back with Darryl again. This is a long time coming. The NCAA made a recent change in their president. They usually have a university president become the president of the NCAA. This time, they went political, and they got Charlie Baker, outgoing governor of Massachusetts, to be the president. And that tells you politics are reigning supreme. And his primary task was to go to Washington and get the Congress to pass legislation that would bring some sanity to this mill environment. Right now, we all know it's the Wild West. Not unusual to see players transfer up to 4 times. We know that some schools with their collectives have a lot more money to spend than others. And it's clear that the reason why Baker's going to Washington is the NCAA and the conferences just can't come up with a game plan. And so Baker, I think, is going to be successful. And just this last Thursday, and then yesterday or the day before, we now have 2 legitimate bills, not draft, but legitimate bills before Congress that will go to committee. And I really have confidence that one of these, either in current form, probably modified, will become law at some point. And I think that is something, obviously, the NCAA wants, and something that I think is very good for the sport.
Darryl, let me ask you this. You think you got Tommy Tuberville, you got Joe Manchin, both guys have had experiences in major college athletics, whereas you look at the other side of Moran and Bloomenthal and what's the other guy? You say Booker, right? So Booker, yeah. Those are centers. They're going with the outside influence of the NCAA. Where do you fall in this, man? Because what they're trying to do is you have one entity outside, and then you got the other is that at least the institutional control with Tuberville and Manchin.
It looks like they're trying to do some kind of antitrust thing, because now it's everybody can't be $1 million player. You know what I mean? I think in the transfer, they lost control. They didn't have no rules. I don't know if they was. I thought before they was going to try to come back with rules, and they trying to blame the president. So they, one I know before they were upset because players couldn't transfer when they was getting messed over. Everybody wanted the kids to get money. Now the kids are getting money. They're getting outrageous money. They're making more than people that have been working for 20, 30 years in 1 year. You know what I mean? So I think now it's come back to slap everybody. So now they're going to the politicians. So the politicians are trying to control the sports. But sometimes the politicians were the ones that was behind the scenes before this became, legal.
All right, Frank. So let's go ahead and break it down for us. What one side is saying and the other side is also whining in their actions. Break it down.
Yeah. And further background before we get into it, the NCAA did not want this. A couple months ago it was now. Wolf, we talked about how change happens, and one route is the lawsuit. And so we had the O'Bannon lawsuit, former UCLA player, say, hey, wait a minute. The corporations are using our names, our images, our likenesses without compensating us. And he won his lawsuit. And then what happened is the states began to pass nil legislation. Problem is, those states have different regulations. I just looked at this today. 32 states have nil laws in place. Not all 50. 32 do. 18 basically follow very general NCAA guidelines. What's interesting is some of the states in that group of 18 that do not have legislation. West Virginia is one of them. West Virginia came up early with a draft law, but it was never passed. You also have New York, Utah, with a number of major college schools. They're also, and we don't have a law. And Indiana, surprisingly, Indiana doesn't. 18 altogether. So here we are with two major proposals. The one on the left is called the College Athletes Protection and Compensation Act. That's a mouthful. And it was introduced by Cory Booker, who played football at Stanford, Jerry Moran, a Republican from Kansas, and Bloomenthal, who, along with his colleague from Connecticut, Chris Murphy, has been very active in this domain and pushing hard for collegiate reform. Now, the big thing, and you alluded to it, Wolf, is that this group, Booker, Moran, and Bloomenthal, have made a number of proposals, and I think the biggest one is they would establish an independent board outside of the NCAA. The NCAA and the board would not be connected. The independent board, called the College Athletics Corporation, would be established. And then they have very strict rules. And I would say, not only does this CAC, College Athletics Corporation, they're going to be able to not only have oversight, they can investigate and they can penalize. So they have a lot of authority. So let's go down the list of things that they're proposed to do. Athletes have to disclose their nil deals to a school-based athletic department official, almost certainly someone in the athletic director's office. That info will not be made public, and those earning more than $1,000 a year through nil would have to disclose specifications, how much money, for what period, what company they're working for. But again, it would not be made public, but will be given to the school. Agents would have to be reviewed and certified by this corporation, this College Athletes Corporations, and schools would not be able to represent athletes. So there's a separation of the schools in terms of what's happening with the athletes. They're going to collect data, according to this proposal, the schools, but other than that, they really have no responsibility in working with the students. The other thing that's very important, if you go down to in that column, is, and this is in both of these bills, proposed laws, is that forget state laws. The state laws in those 32 states got us to this point, but if either of these pass Congress, then the state laws are superseded. Athletes must be required to take financial literacy courses. That may seem odd, but the pros do that. And also lifestyle development. I'm not sure exactly what that means, and I didn't read closely enough to know. This is another important plank here. It would establish a medical trust fund, which would cover athletes' out-of-pocket expenses for injuries and long-term conditions. Now, if you look at the other column under the Manchin Tuberville, you will see that also has a health insurance for sports-related injuries, but it's capped at 8 years. In the Cory Booker and others proposal, it lasts a lifetime. And it covers, this is really important, it covers CTE injuries, heat-related illnesses, and even sexual assault. And it also gives university medical staff autonomous authority. They're responsible for medical management of the players and also to make return to play decisions. So if a player is injured during a game, it's the medical staff that will make the call unilaterally whether that player can come back in the game. The coaches are taken out of that. Another major plank is athletes can transfer only once. if that transfer occurs out of season and not within 60 days of a season start. So they're bounding that in two ways, guys. That's, I think, really important. You can transfer, but let's stop this. Where am I this year? One transfer, and it can happen. The second bounding is it can only happen out of season, can't happen during season, and any transfers have to be completed 2 months, no later than 2 months before the end of the season.
All right. Hang on a second, Frank. I got DP. What's your thoughts on that? That's a really big issue that could really settle things down. Because when you look at the way it is now, I mean, even for the coaches that are out there recruiting and working now, they have no time off because it's just crazy. Everything is, when you think about going into December, that's a signing day going on in football. And basketball is always a signing day. I mean, whatever. So, again, when you think about this, that's a huge implication, a huge rule that could really quiet things down a lot.
Yeah, I think that's the best. I think because what happened, it became AAU basketball. People changing teams. I don't like the coach this weekend. I like him last weekend, but I don't like him this weekend. I don't, my kid's not playing that much. I'm gonna get my own team. So it became chaos. They lost control. It's funny how the NCAA lost so much control, and over the years they had so much overbearing control. And it's like guys leaving. Like we had guys on our team at West Virginia. They went to 4 different schools in 4 years. Sometimes 5. And you don't. Those are teams, it's not programs. So you lose your program to become a team. The teams that win it are the guys that's been there for years. For 2-3 years. It's not piecing a team each year together, and hopefully you can win some games.
That's right. All right, Frank. So let's go ahead and finish up here with what's the final outcome of all this, and then
we'll get to the Manchin thing. There are a couple of other things here under this Booker proposal. The next page there, if you look at that left-hand column, it addresses issues related to the draft. That undrafted athletes can come back to their school within 7 days of the draft, as long as they haven't taken money from a league, an agent, or a team. And I mentioned earlier that the CAC, the Athletics Corporation, would have the ability to investigate, et cetera, et cetera. And also the schools would have to give to the CAC information that about the revenues, expenditures. That's readily available now anyway. But what's critical, the average number of hours that athletes spend on the sport. One of the things that's similar to both of these proposed laws, these bills, is that neither one says that college athletes are employees. And I think that may be the next step in this. And I think that's why they want to collect average number of hours per week and their academic outcomes. But that's also readily available too. Now, the clincher on this is the note. Just today, this is like 10 hours ago, a professor at Boise State published this by the name of Sam Ehrlich. And I'll read this to you. And it's at the bottom of that right-hand page. Due to constitutional law, a concept called the private non-delegation doctrine, the federal government's power can only be wielded by the federal government, and Congress cannot delegate its authority to a private entity. It tried in 2020 when it tried to pass the Horse Racing Integrity and Safety Authority, private entity that would oversee horse racing, and then this private non-delegation doctrine came up. So there is a legal snafu in the Booker proposal that exists right now. In other words, right now, what Professor Ehrlich is saying is he believes it's unconstitutional.
Right. Okay. Now let's get to Manchin and Tuberville.
Yeah, this is something you and I have talked about. Others have. Darryl may have been a part of this. Joe was part of the Band of Brothers. He got hurt. He came in 65 and got hurt and ended his career. But he was part of that Band of Brothers from 66 to 70. And we all know Tommy Tuberville, who's now senator from Alabama, but coached all over the place. Last team was Cincinnati, but he made his reputation at Auburn. As you mentioned, you played down there, were a coach down there for West Virginia when you played. Now, the big thing here is a lot of it's similar, but there are big differences. The Manchin Tuberville proposal vests responsibility with the NCAA, okay? No private corporation. So the NCAA basically gets Congress to do their work. It creates a national public registry to record and track nil, which right now exists only in the private sector. And they would have the Federal Trade Commission perform that role. And it would also, Federal Trade Commission would also register agents, would also register the cooperatives, the collectives that are involved, like West Virginia's. That would have to be officially recorded. And it renders illegal any state law that includes revenue sharing. In other words, this is money for the players, period. And another thing it adds, which the Booker proposal does not, is that prohibits certain types of corporate deals that schools have made in the past. You may know that a number of schools, in fact, I can go down the list, Colorado was the first, Michigan State, Maryland, LSU, all signed contracts with sports books to promote gambling on their campuses. And that includes sending emails to the students with discounts to be able to get, the gambling apps, et cetera, et cetera. To the credit of the sports gambling industry, they have now declared that off bounds. And so a sports book can't make a deal with a university. And so universities are actually walking away from those deals. I believe Colorado has, Michigan State, and truth, I was involved in a faculty group at Michigan State that started a petition to get Michigan State out of that deal. I don't know about Maryland or LSU, but anyway, so that would, so now they're really focusing on alcohol, which schools do have. And I've seen schools that are taking money from alcohol related companies and using that money for their athletic programs. As I said, it has a health insurance plan, but it's bounded only for uninsured athletes. The other proposal is all athletes, and also the Manchin Tuberville plan, only 8 years. Now, what's really interesting is the way, if this becomes law, what's probably going to happen is a cut of the revenue from the college football playoff and March Madness will be used to fund this health insurance fund. I just don't see the schools doing that. My guess is if the Manchin Tuberville bill becomes law, it'll be coming from those two mega events, the football playoff and March Madness. And also, athletes can only transfer once. But look at this, guys. After they've completed 3 years of eligibility. Wolf, we talked for weeks about kids coming in, then leaving. How do you get traction? How do you build a culture? How do you engender leadership on teams, both football and basketball, other sports, if someone's there 1 year and gone, quarterback's there and gone the next year? And so what they're saying, yeah, you can transfer once, but only after 3 years. The Booker plan, you can transfer anytime as long as it occurs during a certain time of the year. So that's pretty much it.
All right. Dean, what do you got to say about it?
I mean, it's just get some control. It's a lot. Like you said, they lost control. Just to get some control back. What I said before is about having a program. You know what I mean? Like now, West Virginia not even recruiting high school kids. All these high school kids, out there that's pretty good. They're waiting to guys. Now guys are playing at 24, 25 years old in college. I was long gone by then. So it's hurting the kids too. Because now if you're not a top level guy, the guy that might need some work for a year can't come to school because they don't want him. They're gonna have to wait for him to go to a junior college or something, or pay for a prep school just to get looked at again. And it's like with football. It's like people hopping all over the place. And you know how it is every year. You need teams together. You know what I mean? It's 11 y'all both sides, not even including the guys that's coming off the bench. There has to be 11 playing as one. You can't play as one if he hopping around from school to school. You know what I mean? You can. And same with basketball. You can't hop around. Even at my age now, I still play. I only play with people I know who I know. I'm on my team because I can't get used to playing with somebody else because philosophies are different. You get other people problems sometimes when people transfer. There's a reason why people transfer. And sometimes they're not playing. It's attitude problems. Somebody tell them to leave. So at least you get a young guy and you have older guys there. You can groom him to what you want to be. You know what I mean? But all this other stuff is I don't mind players getting paid, but some of it's just way out of hand. Some of these guys are getting paid more than the coaches are, and that's not good.
You know what's crazy? Some of these guys are getting paid more than they can make with the cap on rookies in the professional leagues, the NFL anyways. I mean, some of these guys are making more, and it's better to stay in college than it is to go and be a rookie in the NFL and hang out. So it makes them want to stay longer. I mean, it's crazy the way everything has been going. There has to be rules because this model would be unsustainable as college football, even if it was up to the bigger schools, your Alabamas that we were just talking about in the SEC, your Georgias, Oklahomas, Texas. None of those would even be able to sustain because it would still go just like the facilities wars are going now, right? Everybody's got to keep building facilities. You just heard Twisted Rooster talking about South Carolina improving their facilities, spending money. You're talking about, let's go to Rich Rod down in Jacksonville State. They put $190 million and they're going to Conference USA into their stadium. I mean, it's just a constant battle, and it never stops. It just keeps going up and up and up unless there's regulations to control it, unless there's regulations to cap it. That's why the NFL cap works so well, and it keeps everybody at least on the same playing field.
How about this, though? How about this? Like, you give one guy $1 million for basketball. Why can't you give everybody on that team $100,000? Everybody. The guys on the bench are just as important as a guy who's a superstar. You know what I mean? Even the ones that don't play. They got to practice every day. Okay, if you can't do that, put the money somewhere else. The struggle for me was when I left, there was no money it was a gap when I left and until I started playing. There was a gap of, putting this money into the future. Don't take the money now. Give them to like a little trust. You know what I mean? Because these guys are spending money at 20-something years old. I drive up and they had I drove to West Virginia. I see all these nice cars out there. I'm like, who car is that? It was like, oh, it's such and such. I'm like, the car's nicer than us. And I'm paying, all this money for the car. They get a free car. You know what I mean? I'm like, what the hell? They're getting better than the coach's car. But, I don't mind that. But put the money away. Put some of it in trust, but they can get it later. You know what I mean? Spend it all at 22.
Let me tell you something, D. All right, you gotta work your buddy J.R. Toothman better. All right, everybody out there, you gotta go out and get a card from him because obviously you're not working it the right way with that. So, all right, Frank, we're gonna have to go here. We're coming up on the hour. I want to get to Nicco on that, but real quick, let's talk about Big 12. Okay, possibility that Colorado's coming in. Frank, go ahead. Your quick thoughts on it, and where do you think it's going to go?
Well, there's not enough pushback to say, come on. What the Big 12 is doing is call it anything you want. I'll call it poaching. The Pac-12 is teetering. They've already lost 2 schools to the Big 10. Big 10 poached. I don't care if people say, Frank, that's not true. That's what I'm saying. And so now, if this is a 3rd school going from the Pac-12, then you're the Pac-9. Now they may be able to go down to San Diego and get San Diego State. Hey, San Diego State athletics is first notch. They were in the final top notch. They were in the Final Four. They have a good football team, and they lost their pro team in San Diego, and they just built a new stadium on the site of where the Chargers played. So that would be a coup for the Pac-12, and you get the Southern California market, at least part of it back, because you've lost Los Angeles. But I tell you, I was saying to someone today, universities teach, and they don't just teach in the classroom. They teach by what they do. We're not hearing 2 words, football and basketball. We're hearing mergers and acquisitions. Who's going to be next? All over social marketing, okay? UConn? Is it going to be Utah, Arizona, et cetera, et cetera? Hey, this exists for the athletes, for the fans, and for the universities. And all we're talking about now is who's going to be the next domino to fall out of the Pac-12. Who's going to be the next group of five? It drives me nuts, to tell you the truth.
Well, are you going to enjoy going to Michigan State or traveling to L.A. there to see UCLA play?
Boy, I'll tell you, talk about travel. And again, that's incredible for the players because these conferences want to be, especially the Big Ten and the Big 12, they want to be national conferences.
Yeah.
That's why I think UConn is going to be in play. Great basketball program, just won the national championship. Football has been not good, but they are committed to it. That's an East Coast school. So what do you have? UConn going all the way out to Colorado to play, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know. I mean, I'm a traditionalist. I'm an old guy. And
Yes, you are a traditionalist. I'm not going to talk about old guy or not. I'll let the gray hair talk for itself. DP, I'm going to tell you this. What do you think, man, about this with Colorado? Hey, prime time, Big 12. I mean, there's got to be a little bit of, people saying, hey, it's not so bad. You got to compete with the SEC. We talk about all the big schools there and all the stuff that's going in there. You need as many big schools as you can get. I mean, I don't know if Cincinnati or UCF, well, not UCF or Houston is as big as a Colorado. I don't think so. I mean, I think there's a little
not right now with Prime being there. I think especially with the football, because the football team is good. Houston's basketball team is really good. They've been Final Four last year.
But how many times they've been in the tournament going to the Sweet 16? Not that often.
No, the last few years, Coach Houston been doing a good job. I mean, Coach, I forgot his name. He does a great job, and he got a bunch of men. He got a bunch of guys that can really play. So I think he's the program now, and Dana is trying to step his foot in there and try to raise his program up to where the basketball is. So, because Houston's pretty much, Texas is a football state, but Houston is a basketball city. We got the Rockets, we got Houston. Houston before the tradition. Colorado comes to West. Anywhere Colorado goes, they're going to fill it up. People are going to just want to see Prime, and if he does well, that's even better for the Big 12.
No, there's no doubt about it. All right, gentlemen. Well, listen, I'm saying this. If you're going to add some schools and you add Houston, Cincinnati, BYU's always been tradition for me. So, that's always been a power. But they don't cut it for me like a Colorado coming into the Big 12. I'm sorry. I guess I'm a traditionalist as well. But the big schools have always followed them. In Colorado, the Buffs certainly are. And if you've never experienced a game up there and up there in Golden, man, it's pretty incredible. So I wouldn't mind traveling up there to go watch a football game as well. Even though the Mountaineers last time they were there, they suffered a bit there under Coach Stu. They had a loss on a Thursday night, if you remember that. So, but I don't think they've won since then, Colorado. Honestly, not much, anyways, since that game. So, all right, fellas, thanks so much, man. And DP, I got that video we're going to play on Monday for you with the tooth because I forgot to load it.
Oh, that's all good. That's all good. It was fun.
All right, brothers. Hey, Frank, thanks so much. NIL. I'm going with the Tommy Tuberville because I like Tommy Tuberville. I like Joe Manchin. I didn't know Cory Booker was Stanford, so I've got to give him kudos for that. I did not realize that. But I'm going to go with the people that have actually been in the institution, know how it works, and I think it still has to stay in the NCAA because anytime you get that independent commission, you're a little bit independent. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Have a great day.
You too. See you later, Frank.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that's for that. Now, listen, we have Mountaineer Nation. Join the conversation. Do you want to get in or not? See, Timothy Greene. Hey, guys, came in late, but I'm hitting that like button 100. Well, we appreciate that, Timothy. I like to see that very much. Hit that like and keep hitting it all you can. And let's go ahead and jump into this with Chuck Hawley. I think it's next week. Man, Hall of Fame, man. Right there, right? Bob Lilly, we hope to have him come in on the show next week. And he's going to be the presenter for Chuck Hawley. And that's going to be so big. So again, there he is, Chuck Holly getting his coat. There's Scott Holly, his son, watching as they're doing his bust. And you can see right there the Hall of Fame, what they've done. I'll just jack that up real quick. You can see right there what they've done with this right here in his new exhibit, I should say, in the exhibition. And again, it's very cool. Chuck Holly there, Scott Holly. What a family they are. Again, gonna try to make that. Gonna watch the whole presentation with Bob Louie there. We hope to get him on the Wolfman's Call next week. All right, so let's go ahead and move it on here, and we're gonna take it on up to Nicco Marchiol. Kind of rhymes here, doesn't it? Yeah, it's not bad. Well, again, now listen. So we've been breaking down Garrett Greene Monday, Tuesday. We did Garrett yesterday. We broke down more Nicco because of the way it worked out against Oklahoma State. It was really a great opportunity to watch both quarterbacks to compare. The problem was it was a cold, rainy day, and a lot of things I think were in play there at the end of the season. Sanders, the quarterback for Oklahoma State, was not playing. Oklahoma State's defense looked like they didn't want to even be out there at times. Sometimes, that I keep telling you, that team, that defense, they go ahead, they want those TFLs, but then they give up big yardage. And this is a big fourth quarter here for Nicco. And I think it's really exciting for Mountaineer Nation to see this, because Garrett Greene, you saw the strengths that he had, and you saw what he needed to get better at. And Nicco is the same way, that he's got all these strengths, and what he needs to get better at is he needs to get that experience going and to understand the offense better, get the rhythm. But again, he came in and played in this game, and he won it. I mean, it was 10-7 when Nicco came in the second or the third quarter, the second half. And Nicco came out just like he did as the Gatorade Player of the Year when he went and he beat those teams in comebacks. And I'm not saying he's the comeback king, but you want a guy, the strength about Nicco is you want a guy that can go ahead and finish a game and be successful while finishing a game. It's called a special quality of, it's a winner leadership. And there's a reason why that he was a very, very highly recruited quarterback. And I just want to make sure this battle is going to go on. It's going to be all August. May the best man win. Garrett Greene, Nicco Marchiol, best young blood, whatever. I think you can use them both. I think that there's opportunities outside of quarterback spot for Garrett Greene. I think there's opportunities with having both on the field. I think this offense could be very creative because I think Garrett Greene could bring so much to the table, and to have both of them out there, it would make West Virginia's offense better. And I'm not saying switching quarterbacks all the time. It's not what I'm trying to get at. I'm trying to say is you can go ahead and use them both effectively. And what I see is with Nicco is a whole world of potential. He's just a pup. We call him young pups. He was a true freshman last year. He beat Oklahoma State. They had a 14-game home winning streak. Now, I know the defense looked like they did not want to play. I understand that. But they played poorly, undisciplined. And it was raining. It was so cold, so bitter. And the elements were there. But again, he did it. Just like Garrett Greene did it at Oklahoma, against Oklahoma, and beat them. Nicco did it at Oklahoma State. Okay, so again, you're looking at it, and you're critiquing, and you have to be fair. You have to be fair, and you have to say, this is truth. Because the Wolfman's Call, there's always truth in the call, because I don't know any other way to go about it. So as I'm going to break this down, keep that in mind. I'm not favoring anyone, but I'm telling you the things that I like and the things that I don't like, or maybe can get better at. How about that? We'll say you can get better at and improve. And we've talked to Coach Pruitt this week. We've talked to so many. You talked to David Duck Riley. Yesterday we talked to him. And all these men of wisdom, of coaching, and they're saying the same things. And that's what I'm trying to relay to all of you through this show, because I think it's that important. And let's go ahead and start breaking it down. So basically, we're going to start out here. This series is 1st and 10, and you're going to see with this, it's 12 personnel. You got a tight end on both sides, one tight ends in a 1-by-1 hip pocket of the right tackle to the offense, and you have 2 receivers up top. We're going to move on over. We're going to swing the tailback over to the weak side, or not the strength. And let's see what happens here. Nicco's going to get the ball. And he comes off. He's going to hand it off. Well, I tell you, we all know that Jalen, he was running the ball. This is not bad. How many guys are in the box? You're looking at 4, 6, possibly with 7 right here. This guy hanging right in between. 7 guys in the box, still being able to run because you have what? You have 7 in the box. You also have the quarterback that will go ahead and add numbers. So it's not a bad idea to go ahead and make this run and hand the ball off. I'm not sure what Nicco, he's reading the linebacker. I'm not sure if he could have kept that or not. Don't know what the coaches wanted to do with that zone read. But again, Jalen making a nice move there. Open field cut. Not bad. So he gets 3 yards. 2nd and 7. It's manageable. You're on the plus 46-yard line. That is plus because you're in Oklahoma State territory. That's how the coaches break it down. And we're looking again at 12 personnel. 2 tight ends. 1 tight end is over to the far right towards the 50-yard line for the numbers. And, oh, look at this right here. Going out here. This is what I talked about before. Now, you have this. You can do this bubble out here. You see Traylon Davis, number 81, the tight end, is rolling out. You have an option. Do you throw it out here and throw some type of screen, maybe a slip screen, maybe the bubble, or do you hand the zone runoff here? And Nicco's going to hand it off here, and he makes a great decision because you see right there, I think it's Mums, the linebacker, 0. I think it's his name, but he is right there to read Nicco, and then you have number 25, the safety that's coming and following back. So it's a good handoff here. Not sure what was going on at the other end of the bubble, the other side of the screen, but he doesn't get any yards here. He loses it again. Going east and west sometimes with this defense, they love to penetrate. I'm telling you, they love to tackle you for a loss or give you 5 or more yards. You'll see. I mean, it's that obvious. But I think the numbers out here is you could maybe seen it, maybe thrown a little bit of the screen right here because, again, it's 3-2. I told you the same thing about Garrett Greene. I said to Garrett, I think you could have had that option because it's built in, either a zone or it's a screen. What I believe is that the coaches give them the option to do so. Now, I don't mind this handoff because if you look in the box, the numbers are good to the boundary. But again, I'm saying is that possibility is there. So I'm trying to critique this as evenly as possible as I can, but he hands the ball off. Not getting good right here. They're getting outside leverage, and they make the tackle. So now we have a 3rd and 8. 3rd and 8, you got right here, you have the receiver down, 2 down to the bottom. You have 1 up top, and you have 11 personnel. 1 tight end, 1 running back. Nicco in the gun. 3rd and 8. We see the box looks kind of empty there because you see those 2 backers. What are those backers doing right there? So you have 4. You have an outside guy up top there, but those 2 backers are really splitting. They're trying to play that 3rd and 8. They're trying to play the field. They're not trying to play the box as much. What's going to go down on this? He gets the ball. He's going to pass it, and he looks, and he holds on the ball. He pats it. I like his feet was moving in the pocket. And what happens here is it's not a bad play, not bad whatsoever, except it's tipped. You had to have a little bit more touch right there, a little more air, and have it drop in would have been the call. I mean, that's not so easy to say that, but that's what quarterbacks do, as opposed to because they have that talent, and Nicco has that talent. He has that arm. He has a cannon, and he's also got touch, and he's also got accuracy. So again, I put that up to a little bit of experience, playing time. Remember, this is Nicco's really first game where he had back-to-back series in there. Again, got a tip, a good play by the defender. And watch this right here. You see him looking. It's 1, 2, 3, and he hangs on just a little bit. But again, I want to see it go 1, 2, 3, fire. And he might have been a little delayed right there. But you also got to wait for your players to get open as well. But I like him standing in there. I like him patting. I like him moving his feet. moving his feet right there and staying in the pocket. He didn't run out of the pocket right away. He kept his ground. You can't run out of the pocket too fast. You can't have to want to run as soon as you feel any bit of that first option is not there. Right there, you could tell the first option was not right off the bat, or it took time for that first option to be open. So he was hanging on the ball, and he didn't panic. I like that in a young quarterback. That's not easy. Not easy for a true freshman. And we'll see it back here. He's looking and not opening it, but he sees it. Again, I mean, that's not a bad throw. It's not a bad throw. That's a really good play. Defender was right there. That's Big 12. They're Division I players too, right? So that's not too bad. A 1st and 10, new series. And let's take a look. You got a receiver up top. And we're looking here, 11 personnel, 1 tight end, 1 running back. You call it H-back, whatever you want to call it. It is TD in there, Treon Davis. Oh, I love the motion. I really love the game plan that Neil Brown came up with, head coach. I love the game plan. And you see that? Okay, this is the guard H, or guard tight end counter right here. You're going to see Nicco. It's 3rd and 8, right? Not bad. This is a run against this defense of Oklahoma State, but it was right there. Check this out. Again, look at the linebackers. I mean, if I'm quarterback and I'm seeing 4 defensive linemen and everybody else is outside, I have 5 offensive linemen. I have a tight end in there in a 1-by-1. I have myself as the quarterback to add the numbers to the box, and they're playing this like it's, a pass. What's to do? Call run play. Not so bad. Not so bad. Watch the offensive. Oh, do you see Zach Frazier pulling out there? Zach Frazier pulling out and leading. I forgot about that. I got to love that right there. And you see Treylon Davis coming on up. When a tight end can come around and not hit anybody for 6 yards upfield, that's a good day at the office for the tight end and blocking. You see Zach Frazier right there pushing it down. Hey, big yards right there. Again, watch Zach Frazier. He was uncovered. So instead of the guard pulling out, and I said guard, this is the center pulling out. Oh, I love it, man. Oh, remember the Frazier flip? And look at TD coming around. What a youngster. He's going to be special this year. I didn't put him on the closing credentials for nothing. I think he's going to be special. Also got a couple other tight ends, Cole Taylor in there. So now it's 2nd and 1, right? 2nd and 1. And let's check out what happens. Again, motion. You're taking TD, put him across. You're seeing what's going on, the shifting of the defense. Look at that. They're playing a 3 with Mumser, the linebacker. He's almost up on the line of scrimmage. He's in a 2-point. But again, I don't think that's very fundamental right there. So you got the orbit return with Sam James. And he's going to go ahead. He's going to hand the ball off. Oh, look at that. Now, where did that go? That went right up where I just said you had a guy, the linebacker, playing a 3 technique in the line of scrimmage in a 2-point stance. Say, what? There you go. That's why you have a defensive lineman in a 3-point being anchored, like a Mike Fox or anyone you want to think of that's 280, 290, 300 pounds. But instead of a linebacker there. I don't think that works well. Look at the run you see here. Good running at the end. Appreciate that. Offensive lineman running downfield. Look at it again. There you go. Coming up. Oh, look at that. He gets swallowed up. Look at the hole. That's your 3 technique. That's a linebacker 3 technique. The lineman just took him and swallowed him. And look at the hole right there. That's not defense. That's not gap control. That's not quality defense. Please, go ahead. Put up a linebacker to go 3 technique. I mean, any day. I'll still kick his can. There you go. All right. We'll finish this off. I hope I don't have one more. Maybe I do. We'll see. Yep, there you go. Once again, look at Zach Frazier just pushing his guy out of the way. Look at the hole right here. Patience by Jalen Anderson. Patience is running. He's already had over 250-yard strikes for touchdowns in his game. He's got his field going. He's got his jibe going. And, again, another reason besides C.J. Donaldson why the running backs are so good. Sure to miss Tony, but I know he's going to be okay wherever he's at. I think he's at Houston. So now we move to a 1st and 10 sidebar. You have 11 personnel once again. You got 2 receivers up top outside the numbers. You got the 1-by-1 TD, Treylon Davis in the hip First and 10 is good. Hey, time is running now. This is, again, so now it's 21-19. I should have probably set this up, but I'm so used to doing the whole game. But this is fourth quarter. This is running it down here. And so they're right now on the 36-yard line. And it's plus 36-yard line. And you see Nicco is moving this team. And it's first and 10. And, the offensive line is doing a good job of pushing. And so far that this offense is taking care. That goes back to Neil Brown. That's a good job. That this game, I really believe, if it didn't save Neil Brown's job, it was a huge reinforcement. The way that these young guys played for him, I think that showed a lot for him. And if your guys will play for you that hard and not quit at 3-7, what they were, then I think that's important as well. Got to be pointed out. The truth is always got to be pointed out, whether you like it or not. So you see this here. He's going to hand the ball off. I think it's a good idea to hand that ball off, but I think that maybe he could have done something on the other side. But it's first and 10. It's late in the game. He's going to run. He's going to get 3 yards. You can't say that's a bad play. 3 yards. Not bad whatsoever. He hands it off. He shouldn't have. It was a good read by Nicco. Not bad. Once again, as I wonder if you can go ahead and do something with the slip screen here. You got some yardage right there with the block. But again, why risk it? Fourth quarter, it's raining out. It's cold. It's not the nicest. Even the people in the stands were absolutely miserable. So now you got a 2nd and 8. Okay, it was 2 yards. 2nd and 8. And still good play, right? You kept the clock moving right there. Time's running out. It's 21-19. And again, you get Jalen right there making it 4 yards. 2nd and 8, he gets half of it. Not bad. You got 11 personnel in there. And one tight end, one running back. Not much difference. You are being methodical right now, and you are using your offensive line. Sam James goes in motion. Again, this time across. I always like that. Oh, that's a split zone right there. As you can see, 81, Traylon Davis is coming from the hip pocket. Everybody's going, the offensive line is zoning left. Traylon Davis, the tight end, is going right and trying to create that crease, which it is there. And again, he's got patience in the pocket. I really like that. I really like his patience. He's not just blasting it up there. He's letting blocks develop. And when you have zone blocking, that could be a benefit. At times, in short yardage, that might not be such a benefit. Sometimes you got to blast it up there. But at this time here, when you have patience and blocking and they're not trying to penetrate, as Oklahoma State tries to do so often, when they're not trying to do that, then this really, having patience in the hole is excellent by J.A. I mean, seriously, that's good. It's 3rd and 4 now. Okay, let's take a look at this because I think this is critical. Again, we're down to about 6 minutes in the game. 6 minutes, 21-19 is the score. And you're going to see Nicco here. Now, watch the load up right. Here they come. Overload right. I like this. You know why I like this? Because this is a freshman dude who's in the game. He's got some series. He's feeling the game, and I'm right here. And again, listen, guys, this is a quarterback that's something to be excited about for the future. No matter what, you have to be excited as a Mountaineer that you have a dude like Nicco. He's almost 6'2", if he's not a full 6'2". He's 225. He wins games. And no matter when his time is, this is someone you could sit there and be excited. When's the last time you've seen balls being overthrown? Okay, instead of a receiver having to hold up and try that big 50-50 catch because the defender catches up. How about Will Greer, we're talking about, when those balls, when he was hitting guys in stride. Well, I see that because Nicco has got a cannon, an absolute cannon. He's left-handed, man. He's different. There's so many cool things about him. But watch the head. Watch the headiness. I call it headiness, the smarts. All right, watch overload right. This is 3rd and 4. Now, look at Oklahoma State. They're overloading right, thinking he's going to come up here. And what's he going to do? He's going to take it. Oh, it's a quarterback draw. He's taking it right off the bat. They thought they had the swing pass because of being safe because Nicco's a freshman. But they're going to run. But what does he do? He doesn't run to the right. He doesn't panic. He goes ahead, and he hits it to the left. 3rd and 4. He gets 6. He gets 6. Watch the blocking. Look at that overload right. Overload right. Well, let's go left. You got to love it. Let's go left, man. Right there. You open it up. Good job, offensive line. Right there, coming up, Brandon Yates. Nice peel off to make sure no one comes in from the backside. Good job, Brandon Yates in the offensive line. It's a first down. Critical, critical, critical. And he actually sells the swing pass to Anderson. It does a good job, Nicco, because they're all going after it, and he runs to the left. Hey, that's just a heady play in a situation where it's good to be heady. Good to be heady, because if young guys, they'll follow. They'll run right up the center's can. I mean, I've seen young guys right up the center's can because they're not used to being in the game situation. And it happens. And it actually, one time, you saw it happen to both Garrett and Nicco in this game. But as you see, as the game goes along, Nicco does feel more comfortable, which is what you always want a quarterback to get into. So right now you're seeing basically it's back to 11 personnel. Traylon Davis is probably tired. He's still probably tired from this game, all the motions. He's going to hand it up there. See, oh, there you go. Now look at this. All right. And when I tell you, it's TFL 5 or more. Tackle for loss or 5 or more. That's what it is. I'll get 5 or more against Oklahoma State, or they're going to get me for TFL. Wow, it's just so unsound. And I definitely want to do this. And we'll continue right here. Watch the motion again. And I love it. I keep saying it. I love the motions. This is how you help a young quarterback out, showing them the defense. They have to react. But look at the penetration. Not good. Not good offensive line. Not a great call. I think they could do better. 2nd and 11. Here comes the motion once again. It's orbit return with Sam James. It's got to be. It's a guard. H. Counter, quarterback counter. It's got to be, right? There he goes. Look at that. Not bad. He's a runner. Yep, he's a runner. Quarterback. Now you got 2 quarterbacks that are runners. Garrett Greene, Nicco Marchiol. It doesn't matter. Whoever you're game planning against, you better game plan against a quarterback that likes to run. Good job right there with Nicco. It was 2nd and 11. I think he got 9 or 10. And we'll see what he got here. Again, check this out. You saw Zach Frazier pulling the last time. This time, Zach Frazier, the center, is covered by the defensive lineman, and the left guard was not. So the left guard is pulling out. And here comes the tight end. And again, they hooked him right in it. Good job. That's Thomas Remack, the left guard. He hooked him there because if the defensive lineman sits and goes inside, you're taught to go ahead and hook him. If the defensive lineman, the end, sits outside and he's doing his job, is outside contain, well, then you kick him out. And there's hopefully a crease through there. Well, look at Thomas Remack. He's hooking him. That's an experience right there that is not easy for offensive linemen. Again, that is cool. I like it, and I like that young buck. And you see this here. But where's the outside contain? I mean, this coordinator is making $500,000, $600,000, $700,000. Where's the outside contain, man? Oh my gosh, you're kidding me. Look at the shoulder down. There, Nicco Marchiol put his shoulder down, man. He's a tough kid. 2-time state wrestling champ. 2-time. What quarterbacks are state wrestling champs? Not many. Left-handers. Oh, he's a winner. Look at the box right here. You got numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right up there, or 7, right in the box. And look, again, they got the linebacker as a 3 technique. Woo. 2 point. What are you doing? What's going on with that? Oh, and all you see, the Frazier crossbar stopped the blitzer coming through in the back. Zach Frazier. Oh, my gosh. That's funny. Good stuff. Mountaineers moving on down. Nicco moving them. Good job. Good job by the offensive lineman. Here's not what I don't like this. Here we go, east and west again. It's 3rd and 2. How about this? This is a penetrating defense, right? I tell you, it's either tackle for a loss or it's 5 or more yards. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You got 8 in the box. Why not just attack, north and south? But what do you got to do? You got to sit here and you got to go east and west, I think. There you go. See, don't dance around. 3rd and 2. Now, look, what a great game that young back had. What a great game. Right there, I say, listen, don't dance. 3rd and 2. Don't dance. Get in the hole. Get up there. Put your shoulder pads, your head right behind the butt of your offensive guard and your center or guard and tackle, whatever it is. Get in the hole. Get that first down. Because now what do? You got to kick the field goal, and instead of scoring a touchdown to go up by more than 7, you have to go up by 5, right? It is 21-19, and now it's going to be 24-19 with the field goal. Again, there you go. That's the end of the series. They kicked the field goal. Now it is 24-19. It's 1st and 10, 150 in the 4th. This right here coming out, they're at the minus 28-yard line, WVUs. And it's 150. And let's take a look. Go to, once again, motion. Whew. A lot of running back and forth there. Going to try this again. This time they penetrate. They get Nicco's feet. Got to go ahead and try. Not a bad play. I don't mind it. They are coming. You knew they're coming. Again, you're just trying to run the clock out. There's a minute 50 left here. Let's watch the penetrations coming through. Tight end is going to miss, and he's going to miss the block, and that's going to let the penetration get through there. Again, it's a TFL or 5 or more. 2nd and 12, TFL or 5 and more. And we're going to come out here. Going to hand the ball off again. Again, they are crowding the scrimmage, just crowding it. You're trying to run the clock out time-wise, but, they know they have to stop you and to run. You got to go ahead and back. You see Nicco throwing the ball. Look at that. Now, listen. This is so cold, so rainy. How far did he throw that ball? He's out there, and he's coming right out from the 30-yard line, close to it, the 26-yard line, all the way to the 35-yard line. It's not a bad hurl, man. And I know this. They were trying to run the clock out, and it saved the timeout for Oklahoma State. But at the same time, I don't like when there's 8 in the box and you're making them run. And then on 3rd and long, you're going to throw the ball long right there. At the same time, I kind of like it because I kind of like saying, you know what, let's just take a chance. Listen, I don't mind Neil Brown take a chance with that. But we could have had 2 better plays before that. And 3rd and long, okay, you want it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with sending and going to bomb to BFW, Bridgeport, Weirton. So there's no problem whatsoever with that. But I would have liked more creative 2 plays than up the middle. And you can see fired off the ball. He's got a cannon. This is good. This is exciting. This is right here. You got to enjoy it. And that's it. And go ahead. I got excited. I clicked it right off the bat. Again, that's pretty darn good. And let's go ahead and let's call this off and get it going. All right. So let's go ahead and finish this off. This is Thursday. I didn't get to show you my videos videos of the week that I like. Maybe I'll double up on that on Monday. We have some cool stuff coming next week. Some great guests. I mean, if you haven't enjoyed the guests on here, you haven't really been watching them because we've had some really, really special guests this week. The network is absolutely going big. I love the network. And let's go ahead and pop that up with the network right in there and open this up because I want to show it again because I appreciate him so much, and I think it's that important. So let's go ahead and see if we can't jump that up. There we go. Let's get it up there. The network and what we're looking at here. So again, we start out with Archies in Pittsburgh, East Carson Street, right? Pittsburgh, all right in enemy territory. They got Jim Manning right there. Brickside Bar and Grill, Rob Davis. Eat local, and he's got over 30 different kinds of beer on tap. And then he head right into Jimbo's Places, Elkins and West Virginia. And good guys, man. Jimmy, he's a good guy there. And we go up to Morgantown and go to Kegler's and Kegler Sports Bar. Dougie Moore, Jerry Lorenz, Greg Lorenz. I mean, all the guys special. It's a great headquarters in Morgantown for WVU. And you go to Legends in Cheat Lake out there with Aaron Gizzy, the Golf Pro Gizzy, man. Still amazing. great dude, and Legend Sports Bar and Grill out there at Lakeview. You go headed to Fairmont. You got Steve Reese there with the Mason Jar, barbecue, and more. Did you see the pictures of the barbecue? Oh, and of course, he's in Morgantown as well with the Mason Jar Saloon and Hotspot. Say, what's up, Steve? And of course, Mel, one of my favorites there, Melissa, at the Tap House. Right there, right next to all the school, the settings, and the dormitories. You can't go wrong. Got a right on top of a Parmar Stores, our big sponsor, obviously. And then you have the Pallet over there with, you got Audrey Haley, the team, and they got their big trivia nights every week there where you get some serious trivia. People take it serious. They're a lot smarter than I am. Certainly a lot smarter than a man named Reno. And then you have Route 22 Sports Bar in Weirton, West Virginia, all part of the Sports Network. And, of course, Cantrells. Today, right there, we'll say shout out right there to Mitchell, Craig Cantrell, River City Grill and Pub, right there in Hinton, West Virginia. You can't go wrong. The WolfMan's Call Network, it is growing, and we appreciate it. We thank you, and we hope you enjoy this. We're doing a lot of work, getting a lot of breakdowns, bringing in the Twisted Rooster from the SEC. We're gonna be checking in with each Power 5 conference. We're going to be checking in Marchiol, Sun Belt. We're going to be checking on MEC, the Division II schools in West Virginia. And we're going to be also checking on the high schools here. So all this season, we are going to be going all over the place. We're focusing, of course, on WVU, but we're still going to be giving you taste and information so that we don't remain stagnant. We continue to be the voice of college football, and we continue to do our job. All right, my friends, with all that being said, it is time now. Time to say goodbye. Unless anybody else, I said it, anyone else that wants to jump in, this is your opportunity. Talk about Colorado, prime time. You can talk about what you want, what you've seen with Twisted Rooster today, what Frank Fear, Darryl Prue brought up today with the NIL. I like the Tommy Tuberville. I like Joe or Senator Manchin. I like that. I like keeping with the NCAA. They're more used to it. Anytime you get an independent association out there, they become very independent and very uncontrollable. At least this way you'd have regulations in place. Okay, anybody else? Anything for the good of the cause? This is Frank cleared the political agenda up. All right, Pod Bessick, you said that about Frank Fear. Timothy Greene saying he loves every minute. Not sure what you love every minute of, but hopefully it's the show, Tim. And I think we had a great day with everybody. So with that being said, I guess it's time. Nobody's coming in. It's the last chance, but nobody's coming in. So we're going to go ahead. When I talk about TD, I told you, Traylon Davis, you saw him motioning every play at the Oklahoma State. And to sum it up, man, I think I like our quarterbacks. I like our future. And if you go ahead and develop them the way they properly should, then Mountaineers will not be 14th, according to Heartland College Sports, in quarterback situations. Personal joke from yesterday. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. Have a great night. We'll see you on Monday.
Hi, I'm Traylon Davis. I'm from Jackson, Ohio, and when I'm back home, you will find me at my local Parmar store.
We have that gold and blue pride at your local Parmar store. We are coming to your neighborhood soon. West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Maryland, we have you covered. Download the Parmar app and sign up for the Parmar Rewards Card. Food, gas, groceries, and more, we are gold and blue proud, and we are Parmar stores.
If there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
Stationers, #1 office supplier in West Virginia. Always in stock. All many, the anywhere, anytime chargers, powering a connected world. Never buy AA batteries again. Rechargeable 500 times plus. Paul Mini AA USB lithium battery, as easy to charge as your cell phone. sustainable energy. Stay charged. Go green, save green. Feel the power of Paw. Order now at pawmini.com.